Hello my darlings, it's Chanel, and today we are doing the monthly wrap-up for the month of February. So let's get straight into the statistics. I'm going to move myself a little bit. In the month of February, I read a total of 42 books, which equaled around 11,000 pages. And that came to an average of 353 pages per day. I read a lot of genres as usual. The top 5 were horror, litfic, fantasy, nonfiction, and erotica. I am pleasantly thrilled with the fact that horror is coming for fantasy's throat. I would never, ever in a million years have thought I was a horror reader, but turns out there are types of horror books that both scare and thrill me. So I've seemed to have found my niche, and I'm very happy with the horror books that I've been reading. But yeah, who would have thought I have to change my profile because I didn't even list horror as one of the main genres I read, but it is now. Out of all of the books I read this month, 4 of them were 5-star reads. 4 5-star reads. I am pleased as punch, to be honest. So I will tell you about those when I get to them. My average rating overall was a 3.3, which is fine. I would love for it to be higher than a 3.5, but with the way that I structure my reading, it is probably never going to get there because I also do read way out of my comfort zone, and I read for themed vlogs, which sometimes means picking up books that I'm probably not going to like and would have DNF'd if I had just been mood reading them. So anything over a 3 average is great. I mostly read backlist books, but I did read 8 new releases this month. The majority of my reads are physical or ebooks, but I did listen to 2 audiobooks. My favorite cover of this month, it was a tough one, but I'm going to have to give it to Shy Girl by Mia Ballard. So I think that's pretty much all the stats done. I am now going to start with the books that I read over on Patreon so that you wouldn't have seen them here. I'm going to do those ones first. I did want to, first of all, give a massive thank you to my Patreon members for supporting me, with an extra special shout out to my sweet syrup pie, Darren, and also a thanks to Tom, one of my viewers, and my author pal, Jack Scully, for also supporting me. Thanks to you guys. I am going to keep on doing what I'm doing, and I am going to stay true to myself and be authentic. If that means I never get monetized on YouTube, so be it. If I get kicked off this platform, you'll find me on Patreon, but I do just want to be myself because I spent enough of my years masking. I'm not going to do it anymore. Okay, so over on Patreon for our Wild Ones book club, which also ticked the boxes for Kayla's buzzword readathon, the prompts being a book with a skyline on a cover and water words. That book was Here Beside the Rising Tide by Emily Jane. And my review for this book is Mermion, Sharkosaur, Squid and Ox, Tentageddon. Gotta catch 'em all. The next segment I did on my Patreon page was Valentine's Day reads, and I read 2 books for this reading vlog. Those books were The Arrogant Earl of Denfield by Sally Forbes, possibly the most boring and underdeveloped historical romance I have ever read. The other book I read was Bad Luck Charm by Julie Johnson. Graham Greaves can go slam his dick in a door repeatedly. I also read a book for the Patreon book recommendation vlog, and that book was Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. Carney Couple likes to keep it in the family because a true freak is born, not made. I also did a little day in the life vlog, which was actually quite fun. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about that, but it was a trip. But those were all the books that were reviewed exclusively on Patreon. So we're going to get to the others now with my 1-sentence reviews. If I miss some, I apologize. I am not organized this month. A lot has been going on. So I'm going to do my best, but yeah, there might be some missing. I apologize. Next month, hopefully I'll be on it. I've had a lot of, besides the YouTube stuff, I've had a lot of health issues and work changes. But let's get to the books, that's why you're here. So we have Life as No One Knows It, The Physics of Life's Emergence by Sarah Imari Walker. Dry Theoretical Physics featuring Legos. The Art of Pinup by Diane Hansen. Pinups are good girls. Lovesick by Luana Vecchio. This is gushing with cannibal gore. Snuff fests and fishnet foot jobs. Flowers from the Void by Gianni Washington. Seeing life through another's eyes and leaving parts of yourself with those you loved. The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. Wraiths. Run. Gate. Rest. Repeat. It's giving Hades and Persephone vibes. Monsters by Emerald Fennell. I do not wish to live beside the seaside. This was a very close runner-up for best cover. The Burrow by Melanie Cheng, which was a 5-star read. An intimate glimpse into the isolation of grief within a family after a traumatic loss. Frank Miller's Pandora by Frank Miller. Pretty pictures, but the story feels like it's skipping through and that there's a ton of backstory you don't know about. Upon a Starlit Tide by Cal Woods. Sorrow and the Sea. It's a salt-soaked historical fantasy fairy tale remake filled with furious faefolk punishing privateers and defiant daughters. Cal Woods is an auto-read author for me. Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I gave this 5 stars. This book is a love letter to the natural world, but also a eulogy for everything we've lost and have yet to lose. I apologise about the sounds, guys. These Vengeful Wishes by Vanessa Montalban. Read if you like mother-daughter relationships, Central American folklore, and wronged women getting their vengeance. Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. Sometimes summer romances last forever. Aunts Up the Cross. A twee, itty-bitty memoir of times past in a bohemian middle-class family. A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. I gave this 5 stars. It was filled with humour, friendship, and bloody violence. But the romance... Why? Why, sir? Are you kidding me? I liked how both couples were before the big reveal, and now I'm so fucking sad. I'm legit holding hope that it's all going to turn out to be a lie and they cocked-blocked Queen Savine for nothing. I mean, it rhymes, bro. I may have to move locations. Blob, a love story by Maggie Sue. Basically Build-A-Bitch, but with Bob the Blob and abandonment issues. Okay, hopefully they're done. There's 2 of them. Double Teaming Windblowers. At the Foot of the Cherry Tree by Ali Parker. Normalizing War Brides. I read this for a book club. Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang. Getting mink fur transplanted into your is the least weird and confusing part in this book. I might have to beep out that word because that is a sexy word. Model Home by Rivers Solomon. Not the kind of haunted house I was expecting. The Flying Nun by Cody Goodfellow. This was a 5-star read for me. Move over, Old Testament Sky Daddy. The Truth Fairy is here, and she's bringing a reckoning. In by Will McPhail. Aggressively average, self-centered white dude actually tries getting to know other people and is surprised by how it makes him feel. The Naughty Bits, the steamiest and most scandalous sex scenes from the world's greatest books by Jack Monahan. Not my bag, baby. Swallowed by Meg Smithman gives the phrase green thumb a whole new meaning. Final Cut by Charles Burns. She's just not that into you, Brian. The book The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding Civilization by Timur Kadyrov briefly touches on a plethora of humanity's inventions paired with lush illustrations. The chances of me ever actually using this information is practically nil. The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie, second in the Age of Madness series. I'd kneel for King also. Silicone God by Victoria Brooks. Wow wow. This is a sopping wet fungi sci-fi tentacle porn sex romp mistress manifesto. Monumenta by Lara Horworth. The massacre monuments can wait. It's time for family dinner. Lilith by Nikki Marmory. Behind every great woman is a greater Samuel. This was not the badass Lilith story I was hoping for. Fed to Red Birds by Rin Collins. Book Eaters Assemble. Shy Girl by Mia Ballard. This Bitch is Done with Being a Good Girl. Manifesting Live Your Dream Life by Gaia Elliott. Very basic book of the law of attraction manifestation. Pictures are pretty, but they repeat. Memorial by Chris Robertson. Pictures cool, story confusing. In the Act by Rachel Ingalls. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Mr. Cables by Ronald Malfi. Will I too now be haunted by the sound of wallet chains? The Follower by Monty Adkins. Maybe uploading to the cloud ain't a good idea. Penrick's Demon by Lois McMaster Bujold. Super chill demon possession. Okay, sorry guys, it turns out I did forget some books. So we forgot to talk about the Kinky Corner vlog where I read erotica about sentient inanimate objects. So there was Unhinged by Vera Valentine, which gets the award for biggest knob. Spooned by Ruth Cardello. Sorry. Oh, it's the review I wrote and posted on Goodreads. I'm going to read it. A spoonful of clit helps a soldier come. And then we have Pounded in the Butt by my handsome sentient library card who seems otherworldly but in reality is just a natural part of the priceless resources our library system provides, by Chuck Tingle. These library services go above and beyond. I believe that's everything for this month's book club. If not, I'll insert some footage later on. But until next time, stay wild, Star Child.